Eric forgot one of his, poor guy. And we shall hope that as the sound worked earlier, it will still work. But now that Randall used this, it might not.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
Meaning it did work just a moment ago, but I brought redundant systems. It's always a good thing. Backup. Oh, you heard that though, didn't you?
We did. Hello.
Hello. So that still is not, but now if I do this. See, I have my little JBL. Now, those online, can you hear that? Mary Kate, can you hear that? So I thought I shared sound. Let me try again. It says I'm sharing sound. Oh, heavens. Because we can hear it on my little speaker. Now, if I unplug that, now tell me if you can hear it, Mary Kate. No? Okay. Of course it worked before. Preferences, and I've got to move my bar. I/O. I don't think this will work, but we'll try. Say, okay, that works. See, we're hearing my computer. You aren't hearing that, are you? On your headphones. Am I right? It says HDMI here, and I'm on Zoom, and okay, let's go here. One more thing. Let's try that. Now, headphones? No. See, we want this HDMI, right? Don't you think? Let's see, laptop, audio. Now let's try. I am very sorry. Randall, you try resharing. Okay, but first I'm going to go into this because I think this is wrong.
I didn't change.
I know you didn't, but somehow when it interacts with my computer after yours, it doesn't work. I'm going to try sharing one more time and see. Same. Let's try this. You're hearing it in the headphones? Okay, so I made that happen, and I have headphones. I hope all of you do, because you're going to need them. Before we could hear it in the room, and they could hear it on Zoom. I do not understand why, but as long as we make it work, I'm happy. Oh, and it's loud. Where's my, I'll just turn it down a little. Okay, now everyone can hear this, right? This is Benji's melody. Cool, beautiful song, Benji. You're not in the room, right? I want to see everybody. It's bigger, see if that helps. Sometimes I can do it this way. There. Now I can see all of you, I believe. Not quite. Oh, I have 2 daisies. Did you know that, Daisy? It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so when you're writing a counter melody, it's a melody that goes with the melody you've written, but should balance it out. So first off, you examine what you have. And here we have 2 phrases. How would I know that this is 2 phrases? Anybody? Including online? Benji, don't tell them. I see a long note here. And if I were singing it, I would breathe there. So that's a phrase. Does that make sense? So I want something there, probably because that's going up. Which way will the counter melody go? Down. And now look at the melody. It has a recurring rhythm. What's the recurring thing that happens over and over again? Daisy, tell us all.
A quarter note.
Really weird. Oh, I think I have to mute.
A quarter note and then a triplet and then a triplet.
Crazy stuff. A quarter note and a triplet, right? So if we want the counter melody to be different, where are our choices to do fast notes? Because we want the counter melody to be counter to the given melody, right? Stephen.
I do the fast. You mute.
Let's see, if I mute this computer,
How about now?
now I'm,
How about now? That's so weird.
maybe we have to do it all in,
I know what it is.
what is it?
It's the fact that you're still on a speaker.
Oh, no, it's not plugged in.
And where's the sound coming out?
It's not coming out of the computer.
Hi. Hi. Testing. Did that work? Yes, yes I can. Yeah, it's all, it looks all good to me. All right. That's so odd. Try now. Is that better? That's odd.
This program, this has so many things.
Test.
Yeah, I hear you. I still am not hearing this.
Look,
Test.
because it was that setting, that's what's doing the range.
Yeah. Unmute.
When you do that,
Now everyone hears that, right? Did you hear that through your headphones?
Yep.
Oh, good. Whew. Okay.
Second, I turn back on my
Phone.
Yeah. Put in the chat the rhythm that you would like. And Florence send me a melody too. Yay. Download. Thank you, Florence. Download. Yes, let's save it there. Okay. So we have that one. Now we can both hear this. So I think you might all agree that we could either do triplets on beat 1, beat 2, or beat 4, or we could do duplets instead of triplets. Does that make sense? Would it be nice for the counter melody to start with a triplet or end with a triplet? End or start?
I mean, so what I'm
And?
trying to say, and I'm not gonna, so then mess it up. So what I was trying to say, I guess, is, I was thinking of like, while the melody's going da 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 da, the kind of melody da 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 da.
So you started on a half note?
Yes.
Half note. Cool. And what key is this in? One sharp.
Oh.
E minor. Yes. I'm type E right here. You wanted a half note there, right?
Yes.
And then you wanted a triplet?
Wait, no, word no trip. Half the word no trip.
But da 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 da, that kind?
No, I mean, it's like a call and response. While the, it'll be a quarter note, then triple.
Okay. Let's see. A 6 and Q. So here we would have the,
Yes.
and now when you're figuring out notes that will sound good with a long held note that isn't going to change, the easiest way to do it is to think up a third and down a third from that note. Those are the imperfect consonances. So what two notes would that give you? What's down a third from the melody note here? F sharp. What's up a third from the melody note? C. So what do you think? What would be nice? Or do we want the C over here?
I think that's sure.
You want F sharp, and do you want the F sharp here?
What if it was like, ba, 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 ba.
And-
F sharp, C sharp, E, F sharp.
Now, did you want the D sharp since we're in?
It could be either. I think it without the sharp. That works too.
That's possible, isn't it? And here, this one went down, this one went up, right? The funny thing about this is you get D sharp, F sharp, A. What kind of triad is that? D sharp to F sharp is what kind of third? Minor third, F sharp to A, minor third, a triad with two minor thirds is a diminished, which don't sound good in root position. So I think it's a little, happening on beat 4 is awful. And it makes us think we're in,
Go to G next.
go to G here.
Oh, no, sorry.
This might be cool.
What I was thinking,
Now, if you do this, it's the same as that, right? Possible, right? And going on, you could continue this sort of plan. And Stephen, you can write your own to this, but you know, these are all considerations that we do. Would it be okay at any time to do the triplets with the given melody? And why would it be okay if it is? Well, because it might make us feel like we're really arriving somewhere. Now, in the key of E minor, what note of the scale is A? 4. And we like to end the first phrase not on the tonic, which would be hard to do when it's A, which is not in our EGB chord, right? Is A a possibility with the next most important chord in the key besides E? Does it fit? B to A is what interval? It's a 7th, right? Oh, here I have to use a different thing. Come on, thank you, Bopper. Let's be here and go backwards. 4. So I could do this. Sometimes it's nice to go backwards. Now, does this work? Does A work with E? What interval is it? 5th. It's an open consonants, but we're not holding it for any time. Did that make it sound like we really got to a stopping point? And we could even does that make sense? And what note is dying to happen right here? E, right? So we're going to see. It might be okay. I'd probably change the triplets so they didn't both have A to G, because that's kind of silly, right? You can always in MuseScore drag these things down. And here's, oops, where I would do the D sharp. And I might possibly here go an extra note so I can come back to E. Although I might decide where I really want to get to here is C. Hoo-hoo. I just went to the 6 in minor. But now, do you see how this works? That you try to do the motion opposite when the melody has the motion. It makes sense? Yes, and Randall wrote stuff like that to me. Okay, now we're going to look briefly at Wrath of Grandma. We're going to find a melody part. Tell me what measure to go to, Stephen.
So it's, there's kind of two twice. It's starting from like entirely section A, basically.
Section A, this part?
Yep.
How much?
Entirely that section, basically the same melody.
So, do we want any more than 2 measures?
4.
4. This is the vibraphone part. Cool. Yep. And what I'm going to do is move it over here. You're in 4/4, right?
Yep.
And we want a percussion pitched vibraphone. And okay, and then take all of this. Oh, here I can just put it there. Right. Take away that piano. Remove. Okay. And then we'll make it look pretty. And we'll listen to it. So, looking at it, now I need another instrument. Stephen, what should be under this? Piano? That's where you want stuff? But I want a 2-system piano, don't I? Okie doke. So when I look at this, I see there's a rest on B1. So we need a note on B1. So the vibraphone has something to bounce off of, right? Could be a chord, could be a single note. And so you want something complementary. Whenever there's a rest in the vibraphone part, that's where to make sure you have a note in the piano part. Now, what key does this sound like it's in at the beginning? When you have this C sharp, what does a C sharp lead to? D. So possibly, not up there, possibly that, right? And it could be short, it could be staccato. Would it be helpful to the vibraphone player if there was also a note on the and or 2 16th notes? What do you think? We can put it in the right hand. Let's try something that looks like what Benji had, sort of. And see if this helps. It needs a little what? Right? And what note will sound good with the D? Here's something that I taught several years ago, and Eric took it with him, Eric Radloff. Voice exchange, they trade notes. Now, this here is right after this, right? Would it be good for the left hand to do something? You could even, let's just hear what this sounds like. You can put in notes as experiments, but this is all about complementary rhythm. And we don't want a D there, do we? I don't think we need anything there. Would you agree? Doesn't sound good.
What if the octave was on the fourth, but on the instead of two?
This one later, and take this one off. That's kind of cool. We need beat 3, don't we?
Why do you need beat 3?
Because we're going to get lost. And 3 is the second most important beat in the measure after 1. Yes. Well, we need an A here, right? What did I do here? How did I pick those notes? Why didn't I go down? Why didn't I go BA? Contrary motion, which is rule number 1. Sarah's rule number 1. Contrary motion is good. I wonder if it'd be better without this one. What do you think?
Well, then pick up the vibraphone a little bit.
Maybe. Let's try this. I kind of like that. So the right hand filled it in with a note that's short. I can even make it shorter because staccato. And then we have this long note here. Who should do something? Are we just going to stop at the end of the measure? Or could we do 16th notes? And if we want to get back to this again, I press R, I want to get back to D. So I'd want an E here, E, F, G. Oh, look at that. I have the right number of notes. Yeah, are you following what I'm doing? And could this happen again? I don't know. What do you think, Stephen?
Pretty good.
Now, are you getting kind of the principles?
Yeah.
Now here, is D a good note, or would it be better to have E? And why would I want E? We could do the D here. And probably here we want another scale, a little thing that will go with. Should this note be D flat, Stephen? Anybody, should this be D flat? What key are we in? Truly in. What key are we hearing here when we hear these B flats? Daisy. Type it in. You don't know? We're in D minor. See, I've had a D here and D, F, D, and we have C sharp here. Why is this one D flat, Stephen? D flat makes no sense in D unless you're going to do a D flat major chord,
Uh,
which we could try.
I had the chord.
Let's hear what a D flat major chord would sound like. If we have a D flat major chord, then D flat makes sense. You might like that. That's a kind of crazy chord. Otherwise, it's got to be C sharp. And which note should go down or up? Which note should travel so that we can get back to this? Who's obvious? Because here we have F. If we want to do F again, we don't have anywhere to go, right? Although we could do F, E, D, E, ba-da-da-da-dum, couldn't we? Or ba-da-dee-da-dum. We could do something down there, but more obviously, A flat could go down to G, could go down to F, could go down to E, right? Which is sort of what we did before, just we have an A flat to start with instead of an A. And I bet Stephen liked that. Now, one thing you need to do when you do this is you need one of these babies and you put it in parentheses, right? Because we just had D flat here. This is called a reminder accidental. And then I clean it up by making that a quarter rest, and this a quarter rest, and this a quarter rest. And you probably want some more right hand. Does that give you an idea?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Do you understand how I came across, how I made the decisions for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could add more notes in the right hand here, either be parallel with these 4 notes in the left hand, these 4, or be contrary to them and go up. But I feel like that would muddy the waters. Would you agree? It would be too much. There is such a thing as too much. Right, Randall? I think this is kind of sweet the way it is.
I like it.
I do too. Now we're going to see if I can open Florence's. I think it's this one, melody underscore idea. Is that right, Florence? Thumb up? Yes. Open. It's going to be fun. Sweet, Florence. I'm liking it. Now what I'm going to do, because your melody is up here, I'm going to delete your left hand to write a counter melody. Or would you like a counter melody that's maybe in a flute or a violin above this? Text me what you want. Or tell me, because you can unmute and it won't reverberate in the room.
I think that would be good. Like a flute or
You want to add a flute?
something else. Yeah.
Sure, let's add a flute. That would be in woodwinds. And say, okay. And then, oh, I have to change the order. Move this baby up. Because the piano, remember everybody, always goes on the bottom when you're doing chamber music. Okay? Now you've got a fair amount going on in the left hand. And the one change I would make to the left hand that would make it drastically easier to read is we love to see beat 3. Can I just tell you this? Oops. I'm not in note. If I'm in note, press plus. This is easier for folks to read as we see beat 3. Does that make sense? That's just a side thing, because then it lines up here and we know, oh, I'm on beat 3. Got it? Now the melody, it's an octave, and then Florence does exactly what we talked about in lessons learned from 16th century counterpoint. She goes what direction? After she repeats the note. Down, right? When you do a big leap, you come down, usually by step. So here we have a whole chord, so we may want to pick one of those notes, or alternatively, because this has a sort of modern feel to it, right? Do you like 7th chords, Florence? Yes. What would the 7th of this chord be? B flat, D, F. What's a third above F? How do we do that in YMCA? We do it like this. Our head is the line, right? Yeah. I go to Lynx basketball games. And we want it up here, right? And let's hear what that sounds like if it's a half note. And we're going to make this a quarter rest so they match. You like that A, Florence? And then because this is really busy here, this could almost be a descant, right? Could we approach that note beforehand? Could we put something in these pickups? Anybody nod or say no?
I have a suggestion.
Okay,
How about we do like a G and then a B flat, 8th notes?
that could be really beautiful. And how will that go with this F? We'll find out, won't we? So the G and the F might not be exactly wonderful. Could we start on C? What do you think? Is that better? Maybe. And we could add dynamics. We're not going to worry about that right now because you all know how to do that. I don't want to waste time. How many minutes do I have, Randall? It is 3:15. When do I end? We had no time for canon? Because it's your turn, isn't it? And I will show you what I would do, Florence, because I think this is so beautiful. Since it's a descant, I would probably just let it be kind of long. You hear? And I will save this and send it to you, Florence. And if you want to trade a lesson with one of my students, we could do that if you want to come up with a whole melody with help. Or whoever you're working with can help you continue this too. Or you can do it on your own. Okay? Thumbs up. Beautiful too. Okay. I'm going to clear out for Randall. We did not work on the canon, but we made a lot of progress earlier on the canon. And it is in the drive, everybody. Okay. Now I will stop the share, stop the recording.